Adobe always believed that marriage was a scared bond. At 34, she had built her life around that belief. Her home, her work, her dreams, her heart. When she married Chinedu, she believed that she had found a man who shared the same values. He was charming, confident, and ambitious, the type of man people naturally followed. And for a long time, she thought their love was solid, unshakable. She was wrong. It began with little changes. First, the late night meetings, the constant phone calls he stepped outside to answer, the sudden excuses, the sudden distance in his eyes, and then the smell of unfamiliar perfume on his shirt. Faint but undeniable. Adobe ignored it at first. She loved her husband too deeply to accuse him without proof. She told herself marriage required patience, trust, and understanding. But trust required truth. One evening, as the harmattan wind brushed dust across their compound, Adobe found herself waiting along at the dining table. The food had gone cold, the lighting dimmed. The clock ticked with a painful slowness. Chinedu had said he would be home by 7. It was 9:40. She was about to pack up the food when his phone, left carelessly on the shelf, began to vibrate. Her heart froze when she saw the caller ID. My queen. Her hands trembled. She shouldn't open it. She couldn't look at it. But hearts did not follow rules. They follow fear. She answered. Silence. Then a soft, familiar voice whispered, Baby, are you coming back tonight? I miss you. Adobe world shattered. When Chinedu returned past 11, pretending everything was normal, he met a different version of his wife. Silent, her expression broken. She did not comfort him at that night. Instead, she studied him. His lies were suddenly obvious. The gut in his eyes, the defensive posture, the kindness. For 2 weeks, she lived with the truth, like a throne in her dress. She cooked his meal, ironed his shirt, smiled politely, and watched him drown his 7 lies he thought he was hiding. Adobe was not a woman who reacted in haste. She was a woman who planned. And she planned carefully. She found out about the woman, Amara, a 26 years old fashion designer he had met at a conference at Enugu. She monitored everything about them, their long dates, their hotel movements, even the expensive gifts he bought for her with money Adobe helped him to save. The pain was unbearable, but she also found out something else. Chinedu had been using their joint service to rent an apartment for Amara. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. On Saturday morning, Adobe woke up with a strange calmness. She prepared breakfast, cleaned the house, and waited. Around noon, Chinedu announced he was going out to check on a client. Adobe nodded. She followed him. She stayed several cars behind, heart pounding, hands cold. When he stopped in front of a 2-story building, she watched him walk in with a confidence that belongs to a man who believed his secrets were safe. Adobe parked her car, stepped out, and walked towards the apartment door where he entered. She knocked once, twice. The door opened, revealing a young lady, Amara, wearing a sexy dress. Behind her stood Chinedu, shirt half-buttoned, face drained. For a moment, the three of them stared at each other. No sound, no movement, just a loud, painful truth filling the room. Adobe, Chinedu began. She raised a hand, silencing him. I'm not here to fight, she said quietly. I'm here to end this. Her voice was steady, but inside she was shaking. Amara, embarrassed and frightened, stepped aside. Adobe entered the apartment. It was nicely furnished, expensive decorations. Chinedu tried to reach for her hand, but she stepped back. You had a wife at home who loved you, she said. You had peace. You had loyalty, but you chose this. Adobe, I made a mistake. You made many, she corrected her. And each one was deliberately. Amara whispered, I didn't know he was married, but Adobe already knew the truth. Amara had known. She had seen Chinedu's ring. On so many occasions, she had simply chosen to ignore it. Adobe turned to her husband. I will not fight for a man who never fought for me. She removed her ring and placed it on the table. Chinedu was broken. Please, don't do this. We can fix it. No, she said gently. You broke it so many times. The weight of her decision settled around her like a storm without another word. She walked out. She didn't cry. Not yet. Her tears would have come later, privately, painfully. 2 weeks passed. Chinedu tried everything. Messages, calls, gifts, apologies. He begged her family members, involved church leaders, even cried publicly. But some wounds cannot be healed with apologies. Some betrayers permanently shift the hearts. Adobe focused on rebuilding herself, emotionally, mentally, and financially. She moved into a small but comfortable apartment. She started a new business and surrounded herself with friends who reminds her of her worth. Meanwhile, Chinedu's life shattered. Amara ended their relationship once she realized that he's no longer giving her money or taking care of her. His business began to fail. His reputation suffered. In trying to have everything, he lost the one person who had been his true foundation. One rainy evening, he showed up at Adobe's doorstep, drenched, defeated, and trembling. Ada, he whispered, come back home, please. I can't breathe without you. Adobe looked at him for a moment. She looked at the man she had once loved, the man who had broken her, the man who now stood before her, humbled by consequences. I forgive you, she said softly, but forgiving you is not the same as returning to you. You taught me something important. She continued, love is a gift, but trust is a choice. And once it's broken, it may never return. Chinedu began to cry, but she didn't touch him. She stepped back gently and closed the door, not in anger, but in acceptance. Inside her apartment, she breathed deeply. For the first time in months, the air felt light. Her heart felt safe. Losing someone who doesn't value you is not a loss. It's freedom.